Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I am Jisary and today I will show you a super easy way to color your art. If you have struggled with finding a solid method for coloring or finding yourself quitting your illustration right before the coloring or shading stages, this is the video for you. It is super simple and beginner friendly and a very good basis to develop into different directions afterwards. It is also quite fast to do and still versatile. So then, let's have a look, shall we? Here we go. As this video is about coloring, I will skip the concept and outline stages and go directly into the base colors. I will use one of my avatars as an example, as I colored them all the same way I will show you today. To make myself the coloring easier, I select the background and then invert the selection. With this I have the character selected and I insert a solid color. This will be my skin layer. I quickly go over the block and check for smaller issues. Often around single hair strains, some color can bleed over. So I quickly fix these things and then we go into the actual coloring. For the base colors, you keep the selection that you have now. If you lose it, you can right-click the layer you have the color block on and select Create Selection. This is an important command you should keep in mind. Now you go over each body part and fill in the base colors. Just color the outlines of the hair, clothes, etc. and then fill in the bigger parts with a bucket tool. Each color should have an own layer. This makes it easier to change colors afterwards. To keep the overview, I would recommend to name all layers right after you have filled them in. When you are done with all colors, create a folder and move all the color layers into this folder. I recommend you name it base colors or something like that. I always create one color folder per object in the picture. So, with backgrounds and props and so on, there will be many folders popping up. Keeping them tidy is the key to keeping the overview. When you have the folder with the base colors ready, you create a new layer and move it on top of the base colors folder. You clip this layer to the folder and set the layer effect to multiply. This is your shadows layer. With the clipping, you ensure to only draw on the base colors and nowhere else. Now you choose a color and draw on the shadows. Don't be too worried about having the right color right off the bat. You can simply change the hue, saturation, or luminosity with the Change Hue functionality under Edit or with Ctrl U. And when the shadows are too intense, you can simply decrease the opacity of the layer. I recommend to add some harder shadows at the areas that are the darkest, like directly under the chin or behind the neck beneath the hair, or directly under objects that lie on the body of the character. And then you should also add some softer shadows that are created by soft edges, like the thighs, for example. I just use the regular G-pen brushes and airbrush pens that Clip Studio comes with, basically. So you don't need any fancy brushes for this to work. And this step also takes most of the time of the illustration normally. Take your time, especially in the beginning. You will get faster with practice. When you feel confident with the shadows, you can start playing around a little with the intensity of the shadows. Put them on different layers, change the intensity up or down, or maybe add some colors here and there to the shadows. As I said in the beginning, there's a lot of flexibility to this process when you start feeling comfortable with it. When you are done with the shadows, you just do the same for the lighting. You add a new layer, move it on top of the folder below the shadows layer, you clip it to the base color folder and you start. We move it under the shadows layer so that it doesn't override the shadows. Normally, shadows are not shined over by light as they get created by the light in the first place. There are some exceptions to this, but they are like more of a topic of an advanced video, so let's ignore this for now. For the color, you should pick something that fits your light source. If it's the sun, I would recommend a warmer yellow or reddish tone. If it is moonlight, I would pick something bluish. It depends on the vibes you want to create. Again, don't sweat it too much, as you can switch the color at any time with the Change Hue functionality. And now, you color in the lights. I usually put the layer effect to color dodge, and set the opacity to roughly 30 or 40. Again, I mix harder lights on smooth surfaces and softer lights on more fuzzy surfaces. Try to get some edges in. This makes the picture a bit more interesting. And that is it really. Now you have a solid base coloring of your character that looks fine on itself or can be developed into more when you feel ready for it. If you have other objects, characters or other background elements, you can follow the same process one by one. If you have more than one light source, like a spotlight for example, you could now add it on new layers with a more intense contrast setup and maybe add glow as the effect rather than color dodge. This would be on top of the shadow and light layers we have created now, as it is a more dominant light source. But this goes already a little into the advanced territory, so I will leave this here as a small teaser and upcoming topic and include it maybe in a follow-up video in the future. And there we go! This is the basic coloring process I wanted to show you. All my avatars are drawn like this, and most of my artwork has this as a basis too. It is super simple and can be done quite fast over time. I hope I could help you and that I could take away the insecurity about the coloring process or anxiety that sometimes comes with being insecure about these things. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will answer them. And if you want to know more or want to learn more advanced techniques, tell me and I will set up another video for it in the future. And with that, I take my leave. Thank you all for watching. I wish you all the best for your own art. Have fun experimenting. Stay healthy and comfy. Until we meet again.